Hi guys, it's Gillian and welcome back. I offer spiritual growth for the rebel soul and help guide you through your own unique path and labyrinth to ascension. My channel is for everyone that is willing to challenge the status quo, that wants to live as authentically as they can in every single part of their lives and are not afraid to go against societal norms to do so. So if that's you, then press the subscribe button because this channel is for you. Now, today we are going to discuss the fact that you can change your type. In relationships, you can change your type by changing your pattern, by healing the parts of yourself that keep choosing these particular types of people in your relationships. And they might not only be in your intimate relationships. This pattern that you might have may be showing up in other relationships in your life. In co-workers, in friends, you might see this play out in your family. So just have a think of what are the dynamics that you aren't fully happy with, that you want to shift, that you see play out within your closest relationships. Now, it really hit me how much I have changed my pattern, how much I've changed my type of who I used to be attracted to and who I allowed into my life. It shifted so much the more inner work that I did on myself. So I'll tell you a little story about the time that I found out that my ex was on OnlyFans. Yes, true. I found out that my ex is now on OnlyFans. And everyone can do what they want. That is your thing. And I used to be so open about people's behaviors and choices in the world. And of course I still am, because everyone can do what the hell they want to do. But I hold a different standard for myself. And this is so funny because this is just the adaptation of how much my type changed, because I changed my patterns. So my pattern back in the day, and this was a running joke with a lot of my friends, was a certain type of individual. Let's call them the bad boy archetype and all that encompasses with that. Now, there were certain themes that played out in a few people that I dated. And again, this is so crazy and interesting to me because of the life that I lead now. The people that I was and used to be attracted to, they potentially had a bit of a risky past. Not all of them, but some of them have been involved in the sex industry in some way, be that a stripper or a dancer or an escort. Again, I didn't know that at the time, or they did that after we had broken up. But I started to notice a pattern, and I started to notice a theme about the people that I dated in my 20s. And again, it became a running joke with my circle of friends. Anytime that I started dating someone, there was a checklist. Have you been in jail? Have you worked in the sex industry? And have you ever sold drugs? And I mean, there's many reasons that I won't go into of why I was choosing these type of people, because I was so empathic that I believed that I would give everyone a chance. And I could see the good in everyone. And, by the most part, a lot of these people weren't inherently bad, but something along their path and their journey made them make choices in their life that gave them a propensity for risky behavior. And there was also part of me that was attracted to that. Now, once I unraveled a lot of my own patterning, once I unraveled a lot of my own emotional baggage and why I was perpetually choosing these type of individuals, they would all end up in the same way. I realized the common denominator was me. Yes, there was a pattern in the types of traits and individuals that I was choosing over and over again, but the issue was me. So this is where I really took a deep look at myself. And from a relationship many, many years ago, that this is the person that is, I've now come to discover is on OnlyFans, they didn't present themselves in that way. I actually thought this person at the time, which again was many years ago, I actually thought this was like me breaking my stigma, me breaking my pattern, because this person presented themselves in a way that was pretty wholesome. Like they meditated, did yoga. They presented themselves in a way that was more aligned to the identity that I was then becoming myself with all of my spiritual work that I was doing. So I was very attracted to that. And I honestly thought, oh my God, this person doesn't have any of this background. Like, how amazing is that? Like, I've broken the curse of the people that I used to date. And the fact that it has been revealed many years later that they have now chosen a path to go down that route of potential criminal activity and working in the sexual industry. It actually was, I was shooketh. It blew my mind that at that time, I thought I'd chosen different, but I'd still ultimately chosen the same. But it just hadn't come out yet. That relationship didn't last long enough for me to see those traits that person inherently had and hid for a period. And that was actually... that person was a huge catalyst. They were like a covert of my pattern. They were my pattern, but hidden in a very neat bow that was set there to confuse me. But what actually happened after that relationship broke down, this is where I took a hiatus from dating. I took 3 years out plus of dating because I realized that the common denominator is me. And I realized, hold on a minute, what do I need to do to change? What is inherently making me attracted to these types of individuals where the same thing is happening, where nothing is sticking, where there's no commitment, where there's a breakdown of what we truly want from a relationship. I knew what I wanted, or I thought I knew what I wanted. And this is where this comes in. This is where the healing comes in. This is where the inner work comes in. Because I actually didn't know what I wanted. There was part of me that believed what I wanted was this loyal, committed, honest, abundant, supportive, peaceful, harmonious relationship. And I believed that I had that for a period until it changed. Because, again, that person was not showing me who they truly were. And I was choosing not to see who they truly were. And that's why after that relationship, I took such a big period to work on myself. And I really looked at myself and looked at the things that I didn't get from that relationship. And I didn't get commitment. I didn't get safety and I didn't get security. So I made a promise to myself to look at all the areas in my life that I wasn't giving that to myself. Where I wasn't fully committing to my own purpose, to my own happiness, to my own life, to myself. And there were areas. And this is where I took 3 years of intentional celibacy, of not dating anyone, and my life changed. My life propelled in ways that I couldn't have even imagined. The connection to myself skyrocketed. The connection to my intuition went through the roof. My business grew. I actually took a leap of faith and moved out of my old business into my spiritual business full time during this period. I was able, because I made the commitment to myself to look at myself and heal the parts of me that were still allowing a relationship that was not what I wanted to come into my life. So I took the time and I committed to the discipline that it took to commit to my life, commit to the things that were actually important to me, commit to knowing who I was at a deep level, commit to knowing what I wanted from a relationship, and knowing that I could give myself that, and knowing truly that I could give another person that. And because I went through this huge internal growth over that 3-year period, I was able to shift my pattern. I was no longer interested or attracted to those types of individuals that I had once been so magnetically drawn to. Because for so many of us, like I was, there was a huge sexual component to the people that I dated in the past. And again, it was perpetuated because they were into more riskier behavior, and some of them at points had worked in the sexual industry. And although that was something that I would never do personally, that was not a route that I had ever even thought of going down ever, I was too open to everyone and kind of gave everyone a bit of a chance. Not everyone, but you know what I mean. So because I chose to commit to myself, I chose to commit to my dreams, to choose myself every single day. I changed my habits. This was a period that I went through a huge amount of growth. I stopped drinking. I shifted my lifestyle. I shifted the things that I was consuming. I went full time into my business and my purpose and my spiritual being. I was clearing my energy nonstop. I expanded my level of consciousness so much in that period because I wasn't allowing myself to be distracted. I was going into the places that were coming up for me around why I was attracting those types of people. And again, as I said, over that period, I stopped attracting those types of people. And I stopped being attracted to those types of people. Because I had raised my level of consciousness and I had connected with the deeper parts of myself. I had connected with source. I had connected with my more universal wisdom. I was not operating from my lower energy points, which is the places that we get so sucked into connections based on purely physical. Because I knew the feeling of having that expanded, conscious, supportive, loving, unconditionally loving love, because I had been giving that to myself for 3 years. And now I'm not saying everyone needs to take 3 years off and be celibate and not date. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is a period of introspection and healing and committing to yourself in whatever way that is. Shifting your lifestyle, becoming more conscious of the things that you're doing, shifting out old habits, old behaviors, doing the inner work, clearing your energy, connecting with higher sources of wisdom and consciousness, committing to your dreams and purpose. All of this can shift your taste. They can shift your patterns. And through that, I went through a deep healing cycle. So I did a lot of my own energy healing. I did a lot of past life regression. And I just changed so many components about the things that I did in my daily life that I never used to do. And what I realized was I was giving myself the love that I desired someone else to give me. In the past, when I was choosing that type of pattern, I wasn't giving myself that level of love. And this journey is not for everyone. Not everyone is ready to commit to their self-love journey. Not everyone is ready to have the level of committed and conscious relationship in this world. There are so many people that are willing to settle for the status quo, settle for, oh, it's okay. Too many people are afraid to be alone. Too many people are afraid to not go after their dreams. But and if you're on my channel, as being that rebel soul, you are committed to your growth. You are committed to being the best version of you. You are willing to go against the status quo. You're willing to do things differently. And this is the way that I've done it. And now I have the most beautiful and conscious and supportive relationships in my life that I could say anything to, that I have the deepest level of communication with, that I feel so wholly loved and supported in every single thing that I do. I have a business of my dreams that is growing and growing, where I'm being of service to people for being my authentic self. I am living my life the way I want to live it, not because society tells me to be a certain way or live a certain way or to have this or to not have that. I'm doing it my way because I get to choose, and so do you. And if you want to choose something different, if you want to choose to commit to yourself, if you want to choose to attract and have better relationships in your life, then you can. You can do that. But you have to choose to do that. Now, I have created my own framework of internal and external work in order to change my patterns, in order to change who I am from the inside, or in order to change the connection to myself and the love that I have for myself, so that I can show up differently, so that I am a different energy, so that the people that I used to attract and the people that I used to date wouldn't even come near me again. Like, they couldn't even see me. It's so interesting when there's a lot of manifestation coaches out there that say, once you raise your vibration, once you heal yourself, once you do a lot of inner work, then you become a magnet for all of these people. And I believe the opposite is true. I believe the more that you raise your level of consciousness, the more that you heal yourself, the more that you choose you, the more that you decide that you want the most beautiful, loving, conscious relationships because you give that to yourself, less people are able to see you. Less people are able to come your way. Most people are not doing that level of inner work to where they are a vibrational match for you. And if you want to become the most authentic self that you can be, and you want to go against the norm, and you want to, and you choose to have the most compassionate, loving, supportive, harmonious relationships that you can, then you can choose that. But the question is, are you going to choose that? Now, as I said, this is the work that I do. I have been through my own journey and shifts with my relationships and uncovered the labyrinth of reasons and root causes of the things that were holding me back, the things that were continuing me attracting the same types of people in my life. And that's all changed. Because I've given myself the commitment and consistency, those are the people that I ended up attracting. The people that also had that level of commitment and consistency and the level of awareness that I was craving in a relationship. Those were the people that showed up for me. Through that healing journey, those were the people that were showing up for me. Of course, I had the test. I had the test of the old type of person, the old pattern. It showed up. But I was able to recognize that that was a test. And I was able to recognize and love myself more to know that that person could never fulfill me and the level of relationship that I deserved and that I know I wanted. And this is a hard thing for a lot of people, that people settle in relationships. I'm not here to settle, and neither should you. You know, society tells us, oh, why are you single? Why are you not in a relationship? Why are you not married? Why don't you have kids? Like, my clients are hearing this all the time. But are you willing to do the work to have what you want? Like, are you able to put in the discipline? Are you able to commit to yourself? Or are you going to settle? Because when we settle, when we're not doing the inner work, then you're not going to meet that life-shattering love and have those level of conscious relationships in your life. Relationships are the gateways to our spiritual growth. They're the gateways to our ascension. And we can choose to have the relationships that can help us grow or learn our lessons through pain, or we can choose to learn our lessons and grow and evolve through love. So which one do you choose? Because I don't think that you can have the latter unless you've done the inner work on yourself. So if you want to do the inner work, if you're committed to questioning the status quo, if you want to do it your way, and if you want to live authentically as possible, and if you want to have the most authentic, supportive, loving relationships in your life, then there is so many ways that we can do that, to find out, to connect to your true self in all of the work that I do. So if you want to book a session, you can below, and there's all these other ways to work with me too. And that is me for another one. I will see you guys on the flip side.